Hi everybody, this is Alan from Pipe9. In this video, what I'm going to do is introduce you to SkillMe, the #1 skills app on Microsoft Teams. I'm going to show you how SkillMe enables your employees to take charge of their own skill development journeys. I'm going to show you how managers can coach, model, and care their team members through their skill development journeys. And thirdly, I'm going to show you how the application enables HR to truly move the organization from fixed mindset to developing a culture of a growth mindset. The final thing I want to do is also show you how SkillMe sets your managers and your employees up to have the most effective connect, learn, and grow career development discussions as they can possibly have. So, without further ado, let me just introduce you to SkillMe. I'm going to share my screen here and just show you the SkillMe desktop. And here we are. Now, this is what we refer to as a skills board. SkillMe is based upon a skills board. Skills boards are based upon skill profiles for every single role within your organization. This is an example of the sales leader role. This is a sales leader skills board. You can see 4 skill categories across the top: strategic planning, relationship building, execution excellence, growth mindset. And then these tiles represent the individual skills themselves. And a very simple idea that sits behind SkillMe is a development application, actually supports employees through the process of mastering all of these skills associated with the role that they perform. These are the skills that drive success in role. And so when we've mastered each and every skill associated with the role that we perform, we get to a very important point in our role development, and that is we become a master of the role. We've mastered the role. We've mastered all of the skills that drive success in role. And what SkillMe does is supports us through this journey towards mastering all of the skills associated with our role. Now, when you first come into the application, one skills board will look a little bit different. It will look a little bit like this. This is an example of a skills board that I've just been working on here. Let me just go to the sales leader skills board here. This is an example of a skills board, of the skills board when you first come into the app. All of the skills, what I refer to as vanilla, it's what I refer to as the vanilla view, because we haven't activated any of these skills yet. So SkillMe is not providing support. It's not assisting a user as they start to kind of go through the journey towards mastering skills. We haven't activated any of the skills yet. And the way we activate skills, the way we activate our skills, the way we activate our skills board start to add value to us as we go up into what I refer to as perspectives. We go into perspectives. And the word perspectives might be meaningful to you because in preparation for those career discussions that we have with our managers, we might complete some level of perspective based upon the work that we're doing. The difference here is we're completing perspectives on something that's really important to us, which is the skills profile for our role. Our perspective of the work that we're doing against each one of these really important skills that drive success in role. And the way we complete our perspectives is simple. I click on the first skill here. It's called sales strategy in this example. And I go through the process of determining how important is this skill going to be to me. What's my level of frequency associated with executing this skill? And what's my proficiency level of the skill? Let's talk about each one in turn. Importance. What does importance mean? Importance is always in context. Context here is from my last, connect discussion, my last career development discussion with my manager through to my next discussion. Through this period, how important is it going to be to me based upon what I know is going on with customers, engaging with customers and projects that I'm involved in? How important is mastering this skill going to be to me to help me drive success through this period? That's importance. Frequency is all about how frequently do I execute the methods, the principles, and the practices that we know sit behind successful execution of this skill. And then proficiency is all about what's my knowledge of those principles, those practices, those methods? Am I viewed as an expert in those principles, those methods, those practices? Do people reach out to me and ask them to be a mentor to them? proficiency. So in this example, sales strategy, I'm going to say that I think this is going to be important to me. I think my level of frequency associated with execution, you know what, just really sometimes, you know, maybe I'm a little bit lazy. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. My level of proficiency, my knowledge, I think I'm at the intermediate level. And you'll notice a color gets assigned to this skill, and I'm going to talk about what colors mean in a second. And I'm literally going through the process for each and every skill, completing my perspective of the work that I feel like I'm doing against each one of these skills. When I've done that, my skills board will then look like this. Colors now start to guide me because I've activated my skills board based upon my perspectives. Red skills are skills that I'm saying through this period are just not going to be important to me. So I'm not going to focus any of my valuable skilling time on red skills. Amber skills are new skills. These are skills that I know that I need to start to develop some of my skilling time. I need to invest some of my valuable skilling time in because I know that these skills are going to start to become more important to me through this period. Green skills are the most important skills. Why? Because the gap between where you are, your frequency gap, your proficiency gap, towards mastering these skills is at its greatest with green skills. So these are the skills that I need to invest most of my skilling time in green skills. Violet skills are skills that I'm close to mastering these skills. It's the final push to the finish line, and I become a master of these skills. When you master a skill in the Skill Me application, you go purple with that skill, which means you're doing your best work with this skill. You go purple. Now, when you go purple with a skill in the Skill Me application, something really important happens. What happens in the background is that we make connections. We connect people who have mastered skills together with people who, for them, these are skills that they're looking to accelerate their development around. So we bring together purple and green. We bring together purple with amber. We bring people together. And we know from the experience we've had through working with some of our large clients, large tech clients, such as, for example, Microsoft, we know that the more we can bring people together, the more we can make these important connections, the impact we can have is we can accelerate skill development. If we can accelerate skill development across the organization, we know that we can have a big impact upon the performance of the business. And this is why we do this. This is why we invest in having our employees complete their perspectives, build their skills boards up so that their skills board can start to add value to them and add value to others across the community through making these connections. I'm going to show you more about how that works in a second. But we do this for another reason. We do this for another reason so that our employees can do this, so they can pick up some of these green skills, look, and they can drag them across now. And they can put these green skills that they know are the high priority skills, they can put these into what I refer to, or we refer to in the Skill Me app as our priorities column, our priorities column. I'm going to take a couple of these green skills across. I'm going to take sales targeting across because this is a new skill that I'm looking to learn. You remember, willingness to learn new things is an important tenet of developing a growth mindset across our employees, across our communities. And I'm also going to move this challenger mindset skill here across because I know I'm close to mastering this skill. It's that final push to the finish line, and I've become a master of that skill. So these now become the 4 skills, look, that I want to prioritize through this next period. Another important tenet of the growth mindset here, setting and taking ownership for my own skill development priorities. That's exactly what I'm doing here. So we've gone through the process of completing our perspectives, and based upon our perspective, we set our priorities. Now, at the very same time that we're doing this, our managers are doing exactly the same thing. And here's an example. In this case, this manager has completed their perspective of the work they feel like this team member is doing against each one of these skills. And this is their view of it. This is their view of their perspective, the work this team member is doing against each one of these skills. And of course, what happens now is when that manager completes their perspectives and they refresh their view, and I'm just going to refresh the view. Teams is now going to go through the process, just doing a little refresh here. Once the manager's completed their perspective. So it's just refreshing my view. And what you will see here happening is that when I just filter on this particular team member, in this case, it's a person called Mason, this manager can see not only their perspective of the work they feel like Mason is doing in each one of these skills, but they can also see, look, here in the priorities column, Mason's view of their priorities, of his priorities for the next period. The manager can see these priorities. And the manager can also can obviously take a look at these and say, you know what, Mason, I think these priorities are the right priorities for this next period. But you know what, I would also recommend an additional priority. And I'm just going to move that priority over there into your priorities column, because I want to suggest that additional priority for you for this next period. And look, you'll notice that when they do that, strategic planning, which is the skill they've moved across, now has a little notation on it called suggested by you. Suggested by who? Suggested by Mason's manager. In this case, it's a person called Jack. And I'll just zoom in here. Control plus allows you to zoom in so I can see those bars. Look, it says there, look, suggested by you. Such that when I now come back to Mason's skills board, let's come back to Mason's skills board here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh Mason's view. What you will now notice is that Mason's priorities, skill development priorities for the next period, are made up of a combination of skills that Mason has defined for himself. He's setting and taking ownership for his own skill development priorities. Again, a key tenet for developing growth mindset across our organization, which is what Mason has done here, look. And when I just expand this out, you will also notice that Mason's list of priorities also includes a skill, look, that has been suggested by Mason's manager strategic planning. Look, you see it says they're suggested by Jack. So what we've really done here is we've brought our managers together with their team members. They both completed their perspective of the work they feel like their team members are doing, and team members complete their perspective of what they feel like they're doing against their skills profile for the role they perform. And as a result of doing that, that's enabled them to set their skill development priorities for the next period right there. Now, what this has really done though, it's set them up to have the most effective connect conversations, these career development conversations, learn and grow conversations as they can possibly have. Because what we've now done is prepared for those conversations, because we've defined the what. What are we going to talk about in those conversations? We know what the what is now. We don't go into those conversations now defining the what. What are we going to talk about? We know what we're going to talk about. And we know this whole period leading up to this connect conversation has been focused on these skills that we've prioritized together, such that when we get into those connect conversations, to make them as effective as they can possibly be, we're going to focus not on the what, but the how. How has it been going? What have you been doing? What more things can you be doing? How can I help you more as your manager? What more can I be doing to help you develop these skills that you've prioritized? And I'm going to come on in future videos to talk to you about how the Skill Me application enables skill development. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. So to summarize what I've taken you through, I've shown you how Skill Me helps managers and employees complete their perspectives based upon what? Perspectives based upon something that's really important in the skills profile for their role, and how that's helped them to set their skill development priorities for this next period and set them up to have the most effective connect conversations they possibly can. All right, well, look, thank you very much indeed for watching. Please look out for other videos pertaining to other aspects of the Skill Me application. But for now, thanks for watching.